Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is called Children of Chaac. It was written by Phil Anderson and is available from Chaosium's Miskatonic repository. Our game master is David Gassaway, and this is a one-shot. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. David?
Good evening. Thanks, Tom. It is late February 1925 in Yucatan. The five of you have been assembled by a fellow in the regional government in Merida, one Hernando Torres, who works with Alejandro Belmonte, to do a personal inspection of the archaeological dig at Chichen Itza after growing tired of the looting at the ancient site. The government organized with the Miskatonic University a proper archaeological dig, and they started their work late last year. And so you have been assembled to document the work so far and return to Merida in a few days to make a report of what's going on. The four of you who are coming from the big city meet up with Martin Navarro, who is a local fellow, lives in the town of Piste, not far south of Chichen Itza. And you're all going to ride to the site in Martin's truck. It is, very rural, and the road is rutted and primitive. So going slowly so as not to rattle you all to bits, you drive from Piste to Chichen Itza, where you're to meet the head of the dig, one Alexander Beaumont of Miskatonic University, at a hacienda south of the site proper, where the dig is organized. Even in late February, it's hot and sultry. The growth around the rutted track is lush and green.
It's jungle, isn't it, mostly?
It's jungle. And when you arrive at the hacienda, instead of being greeted by Beaumont and his crew, you find that the door to the hacienda is not only ajar, but it's one hinge of it is broken, and it's leaning inward at a strange angle.
Oh my!
What fresh hell is this?
Pull over, park the car, the truck, and oh, Senor Belmont, are you here?
There is no answer from within.
What a striking scene.
Belmont. Let's have a look around.
Senor Navarro, is there, with pencil and notepad in hand, Senor Navarro, is there a history of warlords in this area?
Oh, that is a very good question, sir.
Ma'am.
Oh, ma'am.
Nothing of the kind, Martin. It's a scattered rural community, small farming villages with jungle in between them. Violence is certainly an anomaly.
Okay. Oh, yes. There's so much the fighting sometimes is terrible, but right now it's okay. You're going to be safe for a while.
Unless, of course, Miss Ochoa, you were talking about going back a few hundred years when the empire of the Aztecs and the people of the Yucatan was quite violent and bloody.
Yeah. It was the Maya in Yucatan.
Maya, sorry.
Yeah.
I am an archaeologist. I just forget sometimes.
Yeah. I'm going to walk up to the door and look inside the hacienda.
There has clearly been a conflict. There are papers scattered on the floor. You could also, one of the windows is broken from the outside, so there's glass in the living room. Martine, why don't you see if you can do any tracking?
Oh, sure.
Senor Belmont, are there any
40 out of
rivals out here?
60.
Well,
Standard success.
no, I mean, there could have been some of the capitalists that fled when they were overthrown that could have hid out here, but I wouldn't put anything past them.
One of our main reasons for coming out here was looters. Could they have done something to the professor?
I would not put it past them.
Gloria, I'm just looking at some of these scenes here, and it reminds me of a story that we were working on together down in Chiapas. I wonder if it's something related.
Oh, Mr. Breton, look here. I think I see something.
There are
What do you see?
a substantial number of footprints in the clay outside of the hacienda. It looks like, the scuffle continued outside as, there are footprints trampling over each other, and some of the footprints are bare.
As in naked, not the animal bear.
Right, unshod.
Okay.
Not belonging to a grizzly.
Okay, allow me just a moment here. Before we go into the house, I just want to document this before things get moved around or rain comes. Okay, I think I've got what I need on the exterior.
You take your pictures. I'll look around the house.
Except for the window that was broken from the outside, which is also in the front of the hacienda, there doesn't appear to be much going on. The jungle presses up against the rear pretty close.
Yeah.
But is there a sign of struggle?
No, just in the front.
And you said there was papers. Sorry.
I was going to say, assuming that there could be, we're all still outside, right?
Yeah, you poked your head in only.
Assuming that there could be something scandalous possibly inside, I start pushing Harry. Quickly, let's go inside and see if there's anything to photograph.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, just if I could get some pictures from the inside before it gets too disturbed. I'd like to see
go
things
quickly.
as
Let's
they
go.
are. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna try to get some pictures, and I'm putting on a flash bulb on the top because it's probably kind of dark in there.
It's certainly, there's only natural light coming in the windows. There's a general sense of disorder. You can tell that the hacienda was set up. The ground floor is sort of all working space for the dig, whereas the upstairs is presumably where they're all sleeping. It's quiet as a church mouse inside. There's just the noise of birds and things in the jungle without. Why don't you spot hidden while you're photographing this?
Me as well for inside the house?
Sure.
That's a normal success.
Okay.
Standard success, yes.
All right. So it strikes you that, while things were knocked about, a lot of there's a couple of trestle tables that have been set up with artifacts on them, like potsherds and some bones and things, most of which seems orderly. If there's a note card on it or a piece of paper underneath an object, it's mostly there. You do find a crate that has been smashed. So different than most of the things which are undisturbed. And there's, you also find a small leather journal that has the name Beaumont in ink on the spine.
Okay, I'm gonna get pictures of the journal in the box if I can see any contents in it. But before I go touching anything, I'd like to let the rest of the party know what I see in here before anything gets moved. I don't want to mess with getting the real story.
Could it be that he just went somewhere with people?
Well, I mean, possibly, but the crate's broken.
And the door too.
Well, it is possible that that they went somewhere peacefully, out for a walk, out to get a meal, and someone might have known or gotten an idea that there was something valuable in here and broke in while they were away.
Why don't you look around? I'm just going to see if I can follow the footprints at least to the edge of the jungle and see which way they went. I won't go anywhere.
Oh,
Well,
good.
I'll come with you, Mr. Hildebrand.
Okay.
Thank you, Navarro.
What's the journal? What language is it written in?
It's in English.
Okay, I don't have high enough English skill to read that, so I'll go look over at the crate.
I'll leaf through the journal.
All right. One moment.
And Gloria's taking notes, and she's already categorizing this as the abduction of Senior Beaumont.
Okay. And Gloria, if there's anything that you want me to specifically focus on, wide angle, middle shots, long distance, let me know.
See, yes. What does the book say? I cannot read English.
Yes. From the Journal of A. Beaumont, February 8th. The Cenotes Sagrado site has finally been equipped for diving. As I expected, it contains the remains of sacrifices as well as ritual objects. February 17th. The tremors are increasingly frequent and troubling. Jim has begun charting them. He's even rigged a simple seismograph. February 20th. A small contingent of locals paid us a rude visit. An older fellow feels that our work is provoking the god Chaac. He was not impressed with our credentials. I don't blame him for being alarmed by the quakes, though.
So, of course, there are other entries in the journal, but those are the signal ones that are recent. February 20th, the last date was 3 days ago.
And what year is this? I missed that.
1925.
Would me being a local also know of the legend of Chaac?
Absolutely. And I mean, you guys are actually exploring outside, so you'll have to come in about that later. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I go look at the crate.
yeah, it looks like it was smashed intentionally, and it's got a small handwritten tag pasted to the inside that reads Jade ? Statue, 2 figures, 18 inches by 8 inches by 6 inches, origin unknown.
But the object is missing.
Yeah, there is nothing within. And it looks like it was, smashed with, a machete, like chopped into and broken apart intentionally.
Right.
There also, as you're looking around and picking up pieces of paper here and there, there's field notes, there's bric-a-brac. You also notice that in addition to the sort of boot prints, there are also bare footprints, and there is both red clay and some what looks like blood in the footprints.
Okay.
Who in the house is local?
You mean who among the crew that would be here?
Yeah. Did the other folks go far away? I want to ask if anyone in the party knows anything about Chaac.
Okay. I think that Martin and Carlos are just around the perimeter of the house and looking at the road. From in front of the hacienda, you can see a fairly straight track that heads north opposite the direction you came, that's been raised and cleared. And you can see the principal pyramid partially uncovered, and it's largely overgrown still. But you can see the pyramid of Kukulkan in the north of you at the main Chichen Itza site in the distance. Any tracks fade out of usefulness when you reach that raised track.
Right.
Presumably, parties went to the north, but then again, people from here have been going to the north all the time.
Thousands of years.
And there's foot traffic as well as vehicular.
So my guess is that they went this way. You think so, Navarro?
I believe so. That's what I think. I could.
You can ride that previous tracking roll for that. That's fine.
Yeah, I think so. It looks
The most recent marks look like they're heading in that direction.
Yeah, this is pretty recent. Within a day.
That's Kukulkan, the
See?
Chichen Itza pyramid. Well, let's go back inside, see what everybody else is, if they found anything. So we come wandering back inside.
And that gives Harry an opportunity to wave the journal and mention Chaac.
As they're walking back towards the house. Oh, stay right there. That's a perfect shot.
You said Chaac, god of
yeah.
thunder.
I was reading this journal when they're talking about Chaac. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Chaac. It's the god of lightning and thunder and storms.
Oh, well, that would make sense. They're writing about quakes and tremors here too. I
don't know if he covers.
He's basically a weather deity and also farming. There, as Carlos will know, that the Mayan pantheon is often a god could have multiple representations.
Right.
In one person.
Quite a fearsome deity. They used to sacrifice to them all the time.
Help with the harvests.
So that's the front room. A couple of broken things, a clear scuffle, some shattered glass.
And he mentions a cenote, which is a great big hole in the ground to the aquifer. It's interesting. I think that most of the Yucatan has a great deal of rainfall, but very little in the form of rivers. All the water is underground a few hundred feet.
Interesting.
There
Good
are
catch.
places where it opens into the underworld. I believe the ancients used to believe that was a portal to the underworld. They throw sacrifices.
Fascinating.
Yes, I mean, hopefully we were going to get to take a look at one of them. It looks like it says a ladder or a way down. That's remarkable.
Oh,
interesting.
Could maybe take a look while we're waiting for the owner of the place to come back.
There could also be a treasure trove down there.
Really?
Gold and jade. The Mayans would have thrown those things in there too. There could be piles and piles of it. 1,000 years accumulated treasure.
Well, you mentioned jade. I found this tag here in this crate, and I think what used to be in it was made of jade, and it looks like someone stole it.
Something possibly recovered.
Yes. Disturbs me. I hope they weren't planning to ship it out of the country. That's a Mexican treasure.
I'm sure they're going to put it into a museum, but what's this with the locals? Martin, are you Catholic?
Oh, see.
But do you still believe in some of the old things?
Well, it goes way back. It's not wise to disregard the beliefs of the ancestors.
Do you know where the cenote is?
You would.
See, I can maybe take you there.
There are several cenotes in the larger complex. The one that's called Sacred is on the other side of the pyramids from the hacienda.
Oh, see, I can take you there. I can show you.
Laura, you've been nosing around the house longer and don't have a camera impeding you. So you've stepped from the living room into the kitchen area, which is also largely turned over to archaeological work. There's another in a smaller table in here with things on it. And conveniently, on the kitchen wall is a map of the complex,
Ah,
which is just pinned there and easy to remove.
All right.
Let me produce that.
Yes, I pull it down and bring it in to show it to everyone. Come, look at this.
Wow. What'd you find there?
See, here we are.
So you see the hacienda is near the center at the bottom of this map.
Okay.
yes.
Hey.
The raised track that goes to the north is the white and black line. And you can see Kukulkan roughly in the center. And in fact, Sagrado is marked on this map.
Yeah, it's right at the top.
At the far north end. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And again, there's another one. Stolak is closer. And, there are a number of other structures, not just the main pyramid.
Well, if I might hazard a guess, I could think that the locals, based on what the journal says, the locals didn't like him taking stuff out of the cenote, and perhaps they just made him take it and throw it back in.
Could be. Could you remind me again, Mr. Hildebrand, what was the religious significance of the cenotes again?
They believed they were holes into the underworld. The gods of the Mayas lived in the underworld.
So would, if a family member passed away, would someone perhaps throw something of value to that family member in there?
I don't know if it's exactly the same as that idea. I think it was more that they would toss human sacrifices in there to appease the gods.
Oh.
I don't know exactly what they believed about the afterlife, if there was such a thing.
You probably have passing knowledge of the Popol Vuh, which describes, it was Mayan beliefs copied out by early Spanish missionaries that describe the adventures of two brave heroes in the underworld, who go to Xibalba, the land of the dead, and have adventures like in other ancient epics. And cenotes, as Professor Hildebrandt noted, they're the primary source of fresh water in pre-modern times for the Maya, but also ritual sites. Gloria, there are some glass crunches under your feet when you take the map down, and underneath the kitchen table there is a picture frame that has also been smashed. It's yay long or so. And it had, the cardboard has a stamp from the museum in Mexico City. But that's all that's left is the cardboard. So at least 2 items appear to have been actively stolen in this conflict.
I'll bring the frame out so Harry can photograph it, and then we can flip it over, photograph it, just to capture that evidence of the stamp and our hypothesis of another missing piece.
A photograph? I can't think of any reason why anyone would want a photograph.
The kitchen is also chock full of equipment. So, shovels and sacks and lamps and surveying tools and whatnot were all stacked against a wall in there.
This map looks really accurate too.
Oh, good. And you said there was a second floor also?
Mm-hmm.
So, going to go ascend the steps to kind of glance up there.
Upstairs, there are 6 bedrooms, and there's no sign of activity. Okay. So you have people's bedrolls, people's bags, some clothing that's in bureaus. Clearly, the crew, it's a pretty small group, 5 or 6 people, were sleeping upstairs and using the downstairs as a headquarters.
Okay.
But nothing Nothing looks disturbed or catches your eye.
All right.
Unless you're a petty thief.
I am
In
not.
which case you could rifle through their luggage.
I would all go back to the people where it belongs. So I'll come back down. No one upstairs.
Oh, that's good. You didn't find a body.
Was it also ransacked upstairs?
It was not. It looked untouched.
I think they just wanted whatever the professor had removed from the cenote. That's just a guess, of course. It could be something completely different.
I think that's a reasonable assumption to work off of.
Which means they're probably marching him to the cenote. We should go in that direction, and we might actually even run into them.
There's plenty of daytime left, I think. So
Are any
We
of
could
us
certainly.
armed? I don't think we'll need it, but doesn't hurt to be.
I have my trusty pocket knife.
Did we bring anything if we needed to descend into the cenote?
We don't even know how deep it is. It could be about 200 feet deep.
Oh,
Does some of the equipment in the kitchen include rope or pitons or anything like that? Or is it just like digging gear?
No, they're bundles of rope. I don't. It doesn't look like there's particularly climbing material. There are machetes. There are canvas sacks. There are empty, slats to make crates from.
We
Again,
don't need
lamps.
to worry about that until we find out whether we need it, right? We can always walk back here. It's just a quarter of a mile.
I mean, yeah, looking at the map, it is could be a bit of a hike. Is there like a any kind of, well, I'll ask Alejandra if there was any backpacks upstairs, anything that could be used to carry equipment.
I just saw bedrolls and up there.
I have a little bit of space in my pack. I could carry an extra thing or two, but
There's a raised road leading there, so it's not we're going to have to hack through the jungle. Though I'll take this big knife here. It's nice.
Yeah, machete is always helpful if we have to head into the bush.
But it shouldn't be that hard. It's as flat as a pancake here.
and with the tracks that we saw, would it be far-fetched to think that they were heading generally in the direction of the cenote?
I think they went straight to the path, and we're heading straight in that direction.
Yeah, the tracks I saw that are look to be under a day old, something like that. They went in that direction.
You can see the Kukulkan pyramid over the tree line. It's quite spectacular.
Yeah. Let's try the road.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's hot. You can drive toward the complex or you can walk. It's not terribly far. It is, as noted, it's almost perfectly flat, particularly on the causeway.
Well, we might miss clues, though, if we drive. Why don't we just walk?
Yeah, it's not far. We can walk. Yeah, you're right. We can see more.
All right, so you head north on the track. The causeway seems undisturbed. It was in use, and it appears to it shows signs of use, but nothing new. Nor do you see any further indications of violence until you reach the center of the complex itself.
Mm-hmm.
The process of removing the vegetation from the temples and pyramids is a painstaking one. You don't want to tear the trees out and dislodge the ancient stone. So only really the north face of Kukulkan has been cleared, and there are partly covered other buildings around in the complex. Are you going to head straight up toward the cenote, or are you going to climb the pyramid? Or, I mean, I'm sure Hedrick here is going to take some photos, but he's quick.
I think we're probably completely overwhelmed by the size and
Yeah.
beauty
It
of
is-
the whole thing.
It is quite majestic and impressive here in this very flat land that these giant structures were created and then forgotten, essentially.
Perhaps we can get a view from above and look down and see if we see anything, a fire. We should be able to see a fire, the smoke from a fire rising if there's one anywhere.
Oh, that would be amazing. I could get such beautiful shots.
Now, these pyramids are difficult, I believe, because you have to stand sideways to go up. The steps are not very wide, but they're
No, they're
tall.
definitely, yeah, it's a steep climb. It takes a little doing.
And if you fall, you're going to fall all the way back down, hitting every step on the way. So be careful.
Oh, yes.
All right, well, I don't want to go last then.
I'll go first.
I'll
I'm
follow.
going to be careful.
Yeah. Given that you're aware and cautious, we won't bother with something silly like climb rolls. We'll just say that you're all going to pull out your canteens and drink some cool water when you get to the top, because it's a job.
I probably narrate.
Gloria's not
dramatically.
going to make the ascent. Gloria's going to stay at the bottom and look around and see if there's any evidence of foot traffic heading further north to the cenote.
Gloria, I'm going to get some landscape shots from up there. That would be great on the front page.
Excellent.
Oh, I will stay down here then and protect the woman.
Okay.
I will probably narrate dramatically as I climb about the sacrifices on the tops of the pyramids, looking down over the civilization around them.
When the body of you are about 3/4 of the way to the flat temple area at the top, will I guess make spot hidden rolls.
21. That's a. Oh, sorry.
It's a negative.
That's a hard.
All right, so Carlos pauses to take a breath and admire the landscape, and he notices to the farther north, a great flock of birds rises all at once from the canopy.
Harry, do you see that? Over there, the birds suddenly rising up.
You know, they're far enough away
now.
that you can't hear them, but it's a great movement. And then you hear a small rumble, and the pyramid begins to shake, as does the ground at its base.
Hold on to anything you can.
What? Have you ever experienced anything like this before?
No.
The Yucatan is not particularly volcanic,
No
for
volcano.
example. So it's odd, and it's a pretty good rumble. It's just sort of like one wave passes, and everything shakes once, and you all grab the pyramid for dear life, and it fades into the distance.
You saw the birds. Now, either they were disturbed by the earthquake. I'm going to look back down at the people back on the ground and yell down. Did you feel that?
But of course.
Yes.
So maybe the birds were disturbed by the rumble before we were. But I was going to say it looks like people might be over there because they disturbed the birds.
When you reach the top and settle heavily down onto the flat area, you can't see around very much to the south because there's still so much growth on the pyramid behind you. But you can see more, as you can see down the cleared causeway. You cannot really make out the Cenote Sagrado, but you can see where there is a lack of jungle.
Yeah, we know it's there.
It's over there.
Yeah.
You can see another clearing farther away, a good like mile and a half away, where the jungle gives way to some farmland off to the northwest. And as Dr. Hildebrandt anticipated, you can see a thin line of dark smoke rising up from near the causeway between you and the cenote.
Looks
That's
like
where they are.
If I took out one of my magnifying lenses for my camera, would I get a little bit better of a view towards that column of smoke?
Yeah, I mean, you can try to focus in. It's the clearing is only big enough for a vehicle. Like the causeway is only like that wide. So with jungle between you and whatever the source of the smoke is, you can't see anything very clearly, but you do get a glint as if a reflection from metal or glass at the base of it. You don't see the light of a fire, but it might be hard at this time of day to even see fire.
Does it seem like that glint was something that was moved, or it just caught the sun just right and it was stationary?
It doesn't. There doesn't appear to be any motion.
Okay.
Well, I think we've seen enough. We know they're in that direction. That's where we should go.
exactly. Good idea.
I need to ask Navarro if he thinks that they would actually harm the professor. I hope not.
Well, there was blood in the hacienda.
Probably from a struggle, but
Sorry, we have no time to lose. We can't lose an American visiting us. He'll look so bad on us.
going down is even more dangerous. So make sure of your footing with each step.
Oh yes.
Cuidado! Careful!
Yeah, I'm going to put my camera stuff safely away in my pack just in case I slip.
All right. So more or less with your hands behind you, going down on your butt one step at a time, you safely rejoin the others. Gloria, except for signs of, like maintaining the clearness of this sort of plaza area, there isn't any sign of recent activity or struggle, which doesn't mean a party didn't pass through here. It's just that they didn't leave any obvious marks.
When they inform us of the column of smoke, is the column of smoke in the same direction as the cenote? Will we be taking the same path to get to it?
It is between you and the cenote, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good.
Perfect.
So you, again, refresh yourselves and then head north on the cleared causeway.
Right.
It's about 300 yards or so to the cenote, so it won't take you very long. You were going to say, Carlos?
I asked Martine, you don't think that they would harm the professor, do you? Just make him throw it back?
I don't think they would. I don't think they would go to killing anyone.
In fact, Martin, you don't have any reason to. I mean, it's not as though there's been any violence of that kind that you can think of. And,
it's maybe some, little fisticuff, but nothing that violent.
They might chase him away, but they don't want.
Yeah.
They just want to appease the gods.
See,
I still think we should be ready for a confrontation if we have to. If they've harmed the professor, we need to bring them to justice in the
So
city.
after you've walked, for 10, 15 minutes, you can start to see the smoke from ground level in gaps in the canopy. And as you get closer, what is obvious is that it's a truck headed toward your direction, has crashed and is on its side at the berm of the jungle.
Oh
So
my!
the wheels are up and the engine block is smoking.
Oh, I start running over there. I have to help someone get out of that truck.
Yes, is there anybody inside? Can you see through the windows?
Is anyone there?
Yeah, when we get within fairly close, within 10 yards of it, I'll hold Harry back and start pointing, like, photograph there. Get these pictures.
You got it.
The windshield is cracked, probably what Harry saw from the pyramid. When Martine arrives and peers into the driver's door, it's pretty ghastly. There are two figures in the cab of the truck. They are bloodied and they are slumped over, but their hands are around each other's throats and their faces are just, it's a rictus of rage and hatred. Their bulging eyes, and one of their tongues is swollen and is lolling up between his open teeth. The other one, some of his teeth are cracked. They look like young local men. Nobody you know personally, Martine.
God.
And there are flies on them. They're gone.
Dear God.
Oh my God.
I would like those of you viewing the corpses to roll for sanity.
Oh, 006.
Yes.
I mean, we probably all should, because eventually Harry and I will move up and
You're gonna
take
get in
pictures.
there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Miss, you might not want to look. It's quite horrific.
This is my job. I need to document this. And so she gets in there to start writing and, verbally, trying to capture descriptive language for what she's seeing. Successful sanity roll.
Okay. It's 1 if you succeed, 1d3 if you fail, please. They've never seen, even those of you who've seen violence or corpses, you haven't really seen expressions like these. It looks like, it just evokes like a savagery that feels unnatural and disturbing.
Some kind of strange jungle fever?
I've never seen anything like this before, Senor Hildebrand. Does the vehicle look... Can we tell what flipped it? To just go up on the berm and flip over, or is it just miraculously flipped?
It doesn't. It doesn't seem. It's not as though it. It doesn't appear that there was another action involved. It doesn't look like it was run off the road or it hit something. It looks like they were struggling in the cab and so failed to mind the vehicle, and when it went off the causeway, it kept going because it's raised.
Got it.
Do you know these people?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
They like Martine, they look, like indigenous local folk, but you don't know them. They're dressed like peasants. They're probably the village that you could see from the pyramid. They could be from there, and that's far enough that Martine wouldn't know them personally.
Okay.
This is awful.
What a crying shame.
It's something drove them angry. Look at them. They're at each other's throats even as the car crashed. The truck crashed.
It must have been quite a spat.
This is just unnatural. Something looks really wrong there.
Would you, Martine, roll your tracking skill again?
Of course. Oh, nice. I think that's a hard, at least, almost an extreme. It's a hard, but I can make it extreme with just 4 luck.
I'll accept a hard. There, there's some further broken broken jungle away from the truck, and you can see that there's something bleeding left the truck.
It
Or
might have
moved through into the jungle and left a trail of blood here and there.
Look here. Oh, Senor Brighton, look here. Maybe another picture. I don't know, but something. I think there were 3 in the truck. Look, it comes out and goes into the.
How curious. I see it too now that you're pointing it out.
Is there smashed down plants and things?
Yeah, in fact, it cut as well. And it seems like those of you who brought machetes will find them useful for following this track.
Yeah.
For my really good tracking, do I sense if it's more than one person going through?
You do not sense that it's a group. You do get the impression that you don't find any footprints. It's more like someone crawled.
Oh,
Somebody injured.
Well, if they crawled, Martine, they can't be far. I mean, this truck is still smoking.
so I'll call out.
Yeah.
Hello, anyone needs help down there? And I'll start going into the jungle, the foliage.
Gloria is right behind Martin in order to try and capture this breaking story and take notes.
Mhm.
I'll follow.
The undergrowth is really dense, as is the canopy above. So it's, much darker, just a few feet in than it was on the cleared pathway. And it takes it's not immediate to Martine's cry, but you do hear a voice in return, sort of somewhere between a call and a groan.
Someone there.
And, as soon as your eyes adjust to the dimness inside the jungle canopy, you can see a fellow leaning against the base of a tree trunk with his back toward you on the jungle floor.
Rush over to help. Senor.
Document this whole thing.
It's an Anglo. He's dressed for outdoor labor. His face is cut and bruised, and his left leg is bent at a very unnatural angle. And it looks like he was more or less passed out here. He's probably had some blood loss, maybe some internal stuff. And so it looks like he was passed out at your arrival. He sort of, swoons back into something like consciousness.
Mm.
And he starts speaking in English.
Oh, and I'll switch to English. I'm 30%, so that's fluent.
I'm 80%, so yeah.
Oh, what happened?
It looks like he's trying to focus his eyes and he can't. And he waves one of his arms in the air sort of vaguely. And he says, locals, San Felipe came, broke in. They say, Chaac, the wrath of Chaac, going to sacrifice us to make it right with Chaac. And then the quake and the smell, and I saw everything. I saw the end of everything. And he swoons out of consciousness
He's
again.
delirious. Give him some water.
Whatever. We need to get this. We need to get him back to the hacienda.
But it's disturbing that he says that they are going to sacrifice them. That's what I was afraid of.
It's very unusual. But first things first, this man's going to die if we don't get him to some sort of safety.
Some others may die if we don't rescue them in time.
But he's here and now. He could be bleeding out. We need to get him back to the hacienda.
Could I try a quick first aid just to stabilize him a little bit?
Please do.
Oh, yeah. I didn't yeah. It's good.
Okay, that's going to be a normal pass.
So you give him a good once over. You tilt his head up and pour a little water to his mouth, and he's his body responds with some sputtering and then a couple of swallows. He does appear to be dehydrated, except for the leg. His injuries appear pretty superficial. So you can, with some time, you could splint the leg. Really, he just needs to not be further injured or excited.
Yeah.
He's out of
And
the
he's
sun.
not. He's out of the sun. Yeah.
I think one of us should go get the car to bring him back. I don't think he can make it very far on foot without risking hurting him more.
Oh, I can't carry him out of here through the jungle.
No, go back and get the truck or the car.
I get the truck, and I can also bring some tools and things in case they are getting violent out there. We might need some shovel and a pick and another machete, maybe.
I'm not so sure. I think that we might need you, Navarro, out here with us to tell us what you know. Perhaps Miss Belmont, she's a government official.
I can drive, of course. Yes.
You take good care of Betsy, my truck.
Oh, don't you worry. I drive government vehicles. I'll be able to drive that.
Besides your government, you need to be protected too.
So, anyone going back with me, or am I?
Nope, Gloria will go with you.
All right.
Okay. Good. That's a chore.
Careful.
Now that we've got the ladies away, we can get down to business and kill ourselves some natives.
Hey, that's my people.
Well, hopefully they haven't gone completely rogue and decided to start murdering people.
If they have, it's the first that I've ever heard of such a thing.
Could this be something, disease or something in the water? Or, I mean, you've never heard of this before?
No.
Crazy disease or?
Is the man conscious again?
He doesn't stay conscious for very long. When you can get him to speak, he mostly repeats the end of everything. And, maybe he broke his glasses somewhere along the way, or maybe something else is wrong, but he doesn't seem to focus on anything outside whatever he's experiencing.
It's okay, sir. We're going to get you help. Just relax.
Before the ladies leave, I'm going to pull out a handkerchief and tie it onto a nearby bush so that they know that this is where the guy is.
Oh, good idea. So the truck, and then that handkerchief, and then the guy.
Yeah, right.
Connect the dots. Perfect.
Well, that's right. I forgot about the truck.
Well, but it was a ways in, and it got dark. So, that helps. So, maybe we press on then. Maybe we can find the others.
We need to find them. And we need to defend ourselves. I've got a machete.
Did we brought some tools along with us? Like rope?
I think Gloria picked up a coil or two of rope. I know a couple of people picked up a machete. I don't know what else you wanted.
Is there anything in that truck, that broken truck there? Stuff in the back? Or?
It looks like when they crashed, it was all passengers.
Okay.
It's a simple work truck. It probably,
Do any of us have a gun? None of us have a gun.
I'll say I've got a shovel instead of a machete, just to mix it. Plus I
Well,
won't have
hopefully
to
we
dig
won't need to
deep.
bury anyone, but let's get to it.
Good
So you
stuff.
both groups head away from the truck, one north and one south. About the time that the ladies reach the pyramid, there is another Tembler. It's similar in power and duration. It's not going to break any windows. It might knock things off shelves, but it hasn't been very long. And again, it's not as though volcanic activity is normal, so it's weird. And that's around the time that the fellows come in sight of the Cenote Sagrado. It's as Dr. Hildebrand described, it's roughly circular, large hole in the jungle that is roughly round. It's surrounded by jungle on all sides except for the clearing where the causeway comes in. It's about 60 yards wide, and it's the sides are pretty straight, and the water is about 100 feet down. It's deep green. There is a very simple stone building in the clearing. There is on the southwestern edge, there's a wooden crane winch system set up with rope and hook and gears and things.
The building you said is on the surface on our level, or is it down?
Yeah,
at the bottom?
it's on the ground level.
I'm going to put on a wide angle lens to my camera and take some establishing shots of this whole scene.
So, the building is off to your right. But that's about 100 feet of mostly vertical drop on that rim.
Wow.
How do we estimate our rope being?
You could. I mean, if the coils are not that long, you can tie them together. But there's also this system. There's already this crane system set up that's made of new timber.
There's not anything to stand on down there either, is it? It's just water.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
So you go down and then.
So we don't see any like sides, like little nooks and crannies, and maybe caves down near the bottom.
The entire thing is caves. In fact, they're all probably connected underground.
Yeah, the cenote happens because the peninsula is largely limestone. And so it erodes, and eventually it erodes to a point where there's a cave in. The only thing, ladies, that you experience, other than the heat and anxiety of operating under these circumstances, is that it's pretty eerily quiet. I mean, there is insect life and bird life and things, but there's a lack of human activity that's a little bit eerie.
Right.
Yes, where are they?
And you, drive back to the fallen truck, and let's say you put the injured man under a shade in the back of Martine's truck so that he'll be, poised to depart with you when you go. As the team of fellows is sort of exploring the edge of the cenote, there's another small clearing sort of off behind where the crane operation thing is. And that is where you find some bodies.
Oh, God.
There has been a nasty scene back here. Everything is still now except, and maybe some carrion birds fly away as you edge through this, little clearing of the jungle into this other area, and see 5 bodies.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
3 of them are clearly members of the dig. 2 of them look like local men. They're all in rough shape. Again, some of them have terrible rictuses on their face. Some have been shot and some have been stabbed, and some of them both. One of the local fellows has a machete at his side where he fell. Another one has a shotgun sort of lying under him. The members of the dig team, well, I don't know how close you want to get to these. The grass in here is matted with the blood of the fallen.
This is horrific.
Is there any chance they're still alive? I'll go over and examine one.
They're all at air temperature. They've been dead long enough to no longer give off any heat.
And
the blood on the ground is sticky. And
these are locals, or they're obviously with the professor?
3 of them are people who could have come from Miskatonic, and 2 of them look like local farm hands.
I'm spooked. I'm gonna take the shotgun and look. Are there any rounds left with it, or?
The chambers themselves are empty, but the fellow who's lying on the shotgun has 6 shells and a sort of vest.
Sanity roll for this?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I failed.
All right.
1d4 plus 1, please. And as you're looking at one of the Anglos, there's their hands are bloody and there's flesh under his nails.
Did you say 1d4?
It's like they became. It's like they fought for their lives with their bare hands.
Yeah, it's ugly. They're contorted. Uh-oh.
A 1d4 plus 1?
Yeah. Stewie maxed out. I guess you should roll intelligence.
Okay. Oh, great. Yeah, 23. Yep, nailed it. That's a hard.
Okay. You are...
And I just loaded the shotgun. Oh God.
Yeah, everybody else stay calm. Martine, you are overwhelmed with a sense of paranoia. Some of these people could be your cousins. You don't recognize anybody, but that doesn't mean that you haven't been to the same events with these people. You're guessing that they're from San Felipe, the village over there. That's only about 30 or 40 people. And something has gone really, really, something around here is really terrible. And you don't trust the people you're with. We're going to have to be careful around you. The rest of you notice that he doesn't have the faces of the fallen, but he has a look of change.
Yeah, Felipe, be careful. I mean, not Felipe. Martine.
So how do you respond to this mess other than losing your marbles in Martine's case?
Harry is pretty shaken up. He's going to get some photographs of the scene and tuck the machete into his belt and sidle up next to Martine and sort of just smooth talk him and just sort of, hey, this is a horrible scene, but listen, we're going to figure out what happened to these people. We're going to get home safe. We're going to be okay. We got to do this together.
Yeah.
Do you have any, you don't have psychiatry. Do you have any psychology, Harry? Or you could try social skill like persuade. I wouldn't try intimidate.
What about
Awesome.
let's see. Do charm.
You can try charm if that's what you've got instead of persuade.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a hard pass.
Hard is good. Okay, so
Buddy.
Martine, you're probably too afraid to drink any of Carlos's liquid. Who knows if he's here to poison you? But the photographer does not seem to bear any malice. Everything about him suggests that he's here to do a job, but he also looks frightened, and so you feel a little less threatened by him.
You're right. I suppose. Just I could have known these people could have been my neighbors.
I know. I'm sure that's really hard. Listen, we're in a tough spot here, but listen, we got a great group of folks here. I trust every one of you, and I hope that you trust us. We're going to make it home just fine.
Do we hear the truck roll up with Alejandra and Gloria?
Let's bring them back. And you might want to warn them a little bit if you do hear, because you're going to hear the truck. Martine's truck is not quiet, and there's not a lot of other.
We got the car. Got the truck. Oh,
Alejandra's grinding, not finding the gears. So
yeah.
That might help snap me out of it.
My truck.
My truck.
If you
Belmonte.
you shift without the clutch, you can shift faster. So you can.
Just force it.
Belmonte, there is a massacre over here.
What?
3 people dead.
5
people. 5 people dead. 3 of them Anglos. 2 of them natives. It looks like they tore each other apart.
What?
Like the men in the truck.
Yeah. So if you're going to come over here, be very, very careful. We don't know where these people are right now. We haven't found anyone other than the dead people.
Gloria and Alejandra, you've got fresh eyes on the scene. Would you roll spot hidden?
Yeah.
Standard success.
Standard fail.
Gloria, you're trying to, calculate who did what to whom, and it's a little unclear. It was such a melee. But you realize that the way one of the bodies is lying, there's something underneath it. It's an Anglo guy in his late 20s, and his torso is bent at a funny angle. And when you lean in for a closer look, there's something under him that looks to be made of green stone.
First, I'm going to do a sanity check for seeing the horrific scene.
And you guys were forewarned, so we'll reduce the penalty a little if you fail.
All right, success.
Fail.
All right, why don't you do a 1d3 instead of a 1d4 plus 1? We don't need another maniac.
1.
Right.
And what about a success?
Success
0 or
1.
1.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially because you're going to probably have to try to move that body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to see if I can roll the body enough in order to access the green object.
Understandably. And it is a peculiar item. It's about a foot tall. It's of heavy stone. It weighs a good 10 pounds.
Jade.
It's jade-like, but it seems like it's too heavy, and it doesn't quite have the color you'd expect. Yeah, it doesn't. Right, it doesn't have any of that. It's in fact, it's thoroughly opaque.
Harry.
Noticed that before.
And it's, you have to wipe some of the blood off it. The figure on the left appears to be a female human on top with a lower body of a fish, like a mermaid.
Mm-hmm.
And the other fish-headed creature is male.
Yep, we can see that.
Yeah.
It also looks like a hybrid between human and fish, except it's a head, but the torso and pelvic is male, but the legs look like.
Yeah, it gets fishy again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gets fishy again. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Harry, that note, that thing, that short note that you found in the crate, the dimensions on that. Would that be applicable here? Does it look like it was describing this?
It does.
And do the dimensions seem right?
Yeah. It looks like it would fit neatly in that crate.
May I see it, please?
Yes, please. Harry, photograph this as the good doctor is holding it and examining it.
I'm going to examine it as an archaeologist, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I got 72 out of 75, so I just barely.
So you have a thought that it's sort of Mediterranean, and then it looks somehow older than Minoan or Mycenaean. It looks ancient, and it does not suggest a particular culture's artifacts that you know. You're sure it's not jade. It doesn't have the right haft at all.
This is damn peculiar.
And
I've never seen any
figures don't seem Mayan.
I've never seen anything like this in the Mayan culture.
No.
I'd almost say Mediterranean, but that's preposterous.
Well, you think maybe Mediterranean, the Spanish, when they came through here butchering everyone, maybe they brought it in some weird.
But
could have been a Spanish treasure. Yeah,
I've been to 100 museums. I've never seen anything like this stone. I mean, it looks at first like jade, but it's the wrong color. It's not translucent. It's not like nephrite at all.
Its weight is it is damn heavy.
It's not malachite. This is a very bizarre find. It's also got some realism to it, which you wouldn't expect from the period at all.
Yeah, it doesn't have any of the stylistic characteristics that you'd expect from this area.
And there's no writing on it anywhere or glyphs of any kind.
There's not.
Can I appraise it? You can use appraise to see if it's like actually authentic or if it's a forgery made to look old.
Sure.
Not with that roll, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's priceless if it's found here. It's my appraise. Oh, I've got a pretty good appraise too. But probably I just see the earmarks of the age.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Brighton. Didn't that note say there was two possible jade statues?
No, it was two figures on the statue.
Two figures on the statue. All right. Never mind. I'm misremembering. These bodies are bothering me.
Which of these people seemed to be in possession of this?
It was underneath one of the Anglo bodies.
Now, have we identified?
But it's also the way it was blood spattered looks like it was used as a weapon at some point before. Before they were all done.
None of the Anglos look to be Beaumont.
I don't know if any of you would recognize Beaumont.
And check for their wallets. I mean, we're going to want to have their IDs for the government, so we can check their pockets.
Yeah. So probably a lot of them didn't carry identification away from the hacienda.
Mm-hmm.
One of them has some paperwork in his pocket that he probably not mindful of, and it includes like a fishing license from Arkham, Massachusetts.
Right. And
with a name that you don't recognize.
Are they all wearing shoes?
They're all wearing shoes.
Okay.
Wouldn't I probably have some inkling, because I've probably seen a photograph if he's from Miskatonic.
Well, in fact, now that you're like trying to identify these strangers, you realize that the injured the fellow with the broken leg, is substantially older than the three bodies of white people here. So it's quite possible that it's Beaumont that was in the jungle.
So, Gloria, what's the scoop here? What do you think, with just the facts that we've got here, what do you think happened?
Well, I think it's quite clear that the outsiders have angered the village to the point of violence. That the outsiders, this Senior Beaumont and his crew of people, clearly are guilty of atrocities that just drove these people mad. We should find the villagers. And
are you some kind of yellow journalist that just makes shit up and writes it down?
Oh no!
I mean, I thought you were a legitimate.
Evidence is all around us.
The evidence is that these villagers, these superstitious villagers, have attacked these university professors while they're trying to unravel the history of this country.
Huh. I thought it looked like maybe they got in a fight amongst themselves, maybe fighting over this statue.
But they abducted him from his home.
Yes, they clearly instigated the villagers into a fight, and yes, we should find the villagers and let them know that that everything is going to be all right, and that we can bring peace back to the village.
I like
as long as you can document it and write about it in your yellow journal.
It's the papers are the same color as every other paper. It's
no, they're not.
Just
you don't write the truth. You write sensationalism.
This is absolute
nonsense.
It's the evidence is all around you.
I shall have a great deal.
We must get more and more pictures.
I shall have a great deal to say to the authorities when we return about
right here.
Harry, get some pictures of those two heroes over there, indicating the natives.
Martin,
there's a lot more to gather here. A lot more evidence. We just haven't found it.
The
Martin,
locals here are peaceful.
Would you try to spot something hidden?
Sure. See. Oh, 007. Oh.
That's the spirit.
That's the spy.
Kill him.
The I spy.
How you spy?
Well, these city folk argue about nothing, and you're obviously all in grave danger. You're looking about you warily, and you notice by the stone structure that's also on the edge of the cenote on the other side of the causeway, you notice a brilliant blue color by the base of the stone building that you hadn't seen from the causeway side. Bright blue. Something lying on the ground.
Yes, Este. I start walking towards it slowly. I'm still not fully trusting everybody, so I'm not announcing it as I'd ordinarily would.
Very reasonable. So you've got the shotgun in both hands, ready to swing it around. And as you walk toward the bright blue, you begin to get the sense of the shape of it. It's the blues of tropical feathers, and it's a roughly circular object. It's a headdress. It's a beautiful hat made of feathers. And as you are getting close enough, and you can recognize that there is a figure on the other side of it at the base of the stone structure.
Like a statue figure or a living figure?
Like a person resting against the wall in the shadow.
Oh, are they? Do they look injured? I'll get a little closer. I'll lower the shotgun towards it.
Circumnavigating toward the edge of the cenote to get a closer look. It's another local. It's an older fellow.
Hey.
And he's barefoot and he's bloody and he's very still.
Everybody, another one, the local. This is the Barefoot Man, maybe.
I hustle on over
quickly.
there.
Come, let's go.
Yeah, I rush over there with my camera at the ready.
So this guy, he's maybe in his 60s. He's got little sparse, scraggly white facial hair, and he's got a significant head injury. Like his head is stove in on one side, and he's dressed traditionally, and he's barefoot, and he's got something rolled up in his right hand. The headdress maybe was knocked off of him with a heavy object and rolled a little farther out into the sun.
So with the shotgun in one hand, and I'm like ready to drop my finger to the trigger, I take my other gloved hand and reach out slowly to grab that bullet from him.
All right. It's rolled up in his hands, and you carefully pull it free.
Oh, I can translate this.
Yeah, you go ahead and read that one.
Yes. Ack. God, what is this? This is look at this here. So I step back farther, and I guess the closest to me would be Harry.
Probably.
What are these, like fish people and water creatures from the abyss? I don't know. And then the figure in the upper right hand corner, is that what the god Chaac looks like?
It could be an archaeologist.
Yeah,
Right in the middle.
Yeah, where are you nearby?
Yeah, I'm staring at Gloria with the daggers in my eyes.
Come here. I'm probably starting to snap out of this now because this is like totally new and fascinating.
What is it, Martin?
What do you make of this?
Look in the middle. It's just like that statue.
How very strange. Let me take a look at this. Does it feel old?
Yes, very old.
The language, I don't recognize the language. It doesn't look like Mayan, does it?
It does not.
Looking at the dimensions of this paper, do the dimensions of the paper seem to jive with the dimensions of the frame that we had found?
They do. This was presumably among the things that was taken from the hacienda.
Good thinking.
As Martine asked, is that Chaac?
That could be an acceptable representation of Chaac.
Yeah, this
on
could
the
be
top
Chaac
right
here.
And as Harry noted, in the center image, in the center of the center image, is that like a very small representation of the jade figure, the jade statue that we found as well, with those fish people above it and some sort of giant serpent below?
As if it was some kind of plug.
It almost looks like they're under the ocean.
Or in the cenote.
Yeah.
Yeah, swimming.
Well, that's a cenote. I don't want to know what's there.
Yeah, that looks like it could be a drawing to represent the cenote, the edges and the depth, and yeah, it looks like there's
a monster.
And the orange-toothed serpent head in the far left image looks similar to the one in the center bottom image.
Right.
Well, this is a priceless piece of archaeological find. We need to. Obviously, was stolen from some museum somewhere. It's been curated and
stolen from Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting we take it from Mexico, miss, but it belongs in a museum in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. And finally.
The same with the statue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh.
So we can surmise that the superstitious natives think that by removing the statue, it's going to let out an evil monster. I begin to suspect that our fellow in the truck is actually Professor Beaumont. He's older than all these gentlemen who we're seeing here.
Mm-hmm.
I think he managed to get away, but was too injured. Superstition can be a powerful force to drive people to kill.
Ah, yes. Well, religions have caused many deaths. That's why we're rightfully trying to wipe them out of Mexico.
I didn't know you were an atheist. How very enlightened of you. Well, I'm not sure what more we need to do here other than seek revenge for our fallen comrades.
Well, I think the natives will understand and accept any apologies that the white man want to give. That would be, I'm sure, appropriate.
Why don't you go do that and we'll leave?
I'm gonna look at the headdress. Yeah. So look, do I kind of recognize the feathers? I got all right, natural world, or
it's beautifully handmade. It doesn't have any ancient component that you can tell.
Okay.
It's kind of the shafts of the feathers have been cunningly woven together, and there's some other fabric for the circular part of it. Mm-hmm. And then it just mostly blue, colorful. It looks like somebody's keeping the old ways alive.
Right.
Feathers, maybe.
But it doesn't look like an archaeological object, and it doesn't have any literal symbolic material on it.
Okay.
And just so my mental picture is clear, the barefoot old man that we just found who has a head injury, it's a crushing head injury, not a oops, I fell down and I have a slight cut on my forehead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody bashed him pretty good.
Okay, it's a killing blow. All right.
Yeah.
And
the building against that he's lying in the shadow of is an old stone building that has been used by the archaeologists to house diving equipment. So there's a couple of bell top suits and other paraphernalia in the cool shadows inside that old stone structure.
Oh, interesting.
Well, it seems
Senor Navarro,
obvious.
You seem to be closest to these people. Based on what we've seen here, especially this image pointing at that center image where it looks like the jade statue is some kind of cork at the bottom of the cenote. Senor Navarro, what are your thoughts? Do you think the people want the statue returned to where it belongs, or?
Mm-hmm. I think we should not bring this to a museum, but return it from whence it came.
Preposterous.
This is not good. Take your pictures, take your writings, but this should be returned here.
Yes,
I agree.
No,
I am in agreement.
not
Yes.
going to happen. There's no giant monster at the bottom of the cenote held back by a piece of jade or jadeite or whatever it is, the size of my hand.
You are
I do know that,
you.
please.
Yes,
Whether
you are not.
you believe it or not, you should
Yeah.
respect the traditions of the land. Take your pictures, take your notes, but please, we need to return this to where
Yes,
it
this seems very important to the locals.
Yes, and this will be an excellent conclusion to this piece that I'm planning on writing. Is the return of the artifact to where it belongs at the bottom of this cenote.
Your romantic nonsense is not going to make it. I'm an archaeologist. I don't put things back. What a ridiculous notion.
Gentlemen, who will don the diving gear and do what's right, what needs to
I'm
be
walking
done?
back to the truck.
Not with the statue though.
I've got them both. I'm going.
Uh-oh.
Senor Navarro,
Dr. Hildebrand.
he is stealing.
Don't worry, I've got the keys.
Dr. Hildebrand, a moment, please. Listen, I understand that in this type of work, usually when artifacts are found, they're long forgotten or abandoned. These ones aren't. I think there's a good reason to maybe leave them here. I mean, they're still very important to the people who still live here.
These people have been Roman Catholic for 100 years. They didn't even know about this, I think, until probably the professor showed it to someone, and that's superstition, man.
That is speculation.
Why aren't you
Only
people part of the 20th century? I mean, this is ridiculous superstition.
But
No
this expedition,
gods are going to reach down from the heavens or up from the cenote and punish us for moving this little statue. That's
Perhaps
just
not, but-
preposterous.
this expedition could be remembered as
No.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm
No.
a scientist. I'm not some superstitious religious banana.
well, I don't necessarily believe in the spirits and all that, but this could all be remembered as some excellent and soon-to-be famous scientists discovered these artifacts and returned them to the people to whom they belong, and
then
unlocked a part of their history they had long forgotten.
then Miss Alejandra Belmonte and
Good.
another team of scientists will come here. They'll machine gun all of the natives, take the treasure for themselves, and
Well, we would build
That'll be it.
we'd build a museum out here. It'd be a good work project for the villagers and help modernize the area.
yes, if
I
you
mean-
build a museum out here, you're certainly not going to leave the statue at the bottom of the cenote.
No, of course not. No, and I like the
rest my
idea of
case.
machine gunning the natives that in their silly religion. I like that idea.
I think that we should leave. There's nothing we can do
I
here
step-
any longer.
over to Alejandra and get my keys back.
Yes.
Gracias.
There's a little a sudden small noise followed by the fluttering of many wings, and a passel of birds rush out of the jungle nearby, and you feel the earth rumbling underneath you again. And as you're standing around not very far from the edge of the cenote having this argument, you hear also, I guess, a sort of rushing sound, a wet rushing sound. as if there is a release of a great quantity of air from beneath the water. And it's followed by a strange and horrific smell.
This is just like that guy was saying.
And it's coming from the cenote?
The noise distinctly came out of the cenote, and the smell is like a wall. Make power rolls, please.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also going to stumble away from it because it could be poisonous gas.
oh, 0-1. Nice.
I'm sorry, what was this for?
Power.
I'm going to spend, just for ha-has, I'm going to spend the 1 luck to make it an extreme success.
Nice.
I failed by 42 points.
Ouch.
In a similar boat.
And I have a loaded shotgun and the car keys.
It's going to be nothing because I got a lit pipe.
and Gloria is wearing the blue headdress, by the way.
Gloria put on the headdress. It's a little tight on her, but it does look regal.
We'll be all right.
So Gloria, at the first scent of the stench, pulled a scarf from her bag and put her under her face, sensing apprehension at the correlation between what she's heard said and this eruption. Alejandra likewise turned and sort of dropped to her knees and covered her face. The rest of you also made gestures, but too late, and the world around you disappears. You are first aware only of a profound, agonizing hunger, the most painful, unbelievable emptiness inside, as though you had never known sustenance and your own body is devouring itself. And you crouch or fall over in the grips of it, and then there's a sense like the void within you is expanding in a black, cold, vast emptiness that tears from within you, and time has stopped. This goes on and on and on. And the ache, as if again an absolute emptiness was sucking all of your soul through it into a greater emptiness, and again. So Alejandra and Gloria, you see the 3 men just like, their faces in terror and pain, and they drop to the ground. And it lasts for 25, 35 seconds. You want to help them, but it's also, they're convulsing a little bit, and it's frightening, and their eyes are rolling.
Gloria will quickly go to Alejandra, grab her arm, and get close to her ear and whisper, "Look at their faces. Look at their faces. It's just like that of the dead.
You need to get that gun.
Need to get that statue and scroll."
You
but
go
of
for
course,
that.
There's not enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah, although the fellows are going to be helpless for a bit. I would each of the sufferers roll luck.
88 out of 55.
Wow.
So big fail.
Dom's
Same.
all right.
Fail.
Harry's also. Martin, you're gonna take a hit point of damage. And, when you begin to have a sense of your surroundings,
See?
the first thing you'll be aware of is the taste of blood in your mouth because you've bitten off the tip of your tongue. It's try not to swallow it. Harry, you won't be aware right away of the crunching sound, but you've broken your camera in your thrashings on the ground. It might be you might be able to get the film out without it being exposed, and you might be able to change lenses, but there's broken glass. And now we're gonna have a little dice roll.
Mm-hmm.
I need another die.
And Alejandra and I are safely off to the side.
You might, if you try to get the shotgun or the statue or the map, then you'll have to be close to them.
Yeah, I'm wanting to get that shotgun because I'm thinking those other guys killed each other, and these guys seem to be going into that red mist.
Especially Martin.
Yeah, exactly.
Martin is insensate when you pull the gun out of his hand. He doesn't have any idea that he has a body at that point. So you can retrieve the shotgun and the two of you can go and sort of back yourself toward the truck in case away from the edge of the cenote and away from the three men. All right. For Dr. Hildebrand, we will have, when you can see the world again around you and you're aware of your surroundings, it's a bright day. And you're kind of gradually recognizing the environment you were in before you were in hell. You are overcome with an emotion. You can choose what emotion that is, but you're going to express it and nothing else for a period of time.
Well, if it's a reflection of what I've been feeling for the last 15 minutes, it's real anger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. Mr. Britton, you want to kill and kill and kill. Whatever you have just escaped an eternity of eviscerating agony, and you were seeing red. You don't have any words. You were just feeling intensely violent. And Martine, you need to get away from this place as thoroughly and quickly as possible, no matter what it requires.
Do I still have my keys then?
You took the keys before the tremor. I'm not sure you'd be able to drive a truck.
Okay.
It's not, you'd have to stop to open the door to get in and put the keys in.
Okay, I'm just running. I'm running back to the house and fuck this place.
All right.
And his face is bloody. Like when he screams and starts to run, the end of his tongue flops onto the grass and
just
blood
moving.
and spittle is running down his face.
Moves so fast he's blurred. And
I guess Harry is going to. I'm assuming that he can't resist this urge. It's just manifesting.
You don't have any thoughts except violence. How you want to deal with that?
Harry is going to pounce on Dr. Hildebrandt and start babbling about returning the statue and throwing it into the cenote and put it back, you bastard, and just leap through the air and land on him.
All right. And Dr. Hildebrandt, when you collapsed, you had a statue in one hand and an ancient document in the other. And now you're seeing the world again. And the first thing you do is grab for the knife you picked up at the hacienda. All right. So the artifacts are lying on the ground.
next to me.
Hildebrand.
And what I'm thinking is, if I see Martin, before I see Harry, if I see Martin running for the truck, I'm like, oh, no, you ain't, and I'm going to get up, but I have to get up still. I haven't done that yet.
Well, let's go by dex then. Which of the three? What are your three relatives?
60,
70.
The amazing number of 45.
All right.
And my speed is 7.
So theoretically, I would catch you if he didn't catch me first.
Right. That's about where we're at. You turn, Martin's like staggering past the truck on his way to run, and you are lunging for him, pulling the knife out, and then Harry is upon you.
And I think I would just be like clawing at him. I don't think I would have the wherewithal to like reach for a weapon. I think I'm just totally primal, just
you
clawing.
basically have no forebrain right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just do a brawl.
I'm going to be, get off of me, you yellow journalist.
Okay, I failed my brawl roll.
And I assume you're parrying?
Yeah, well, I'm parrying with a knife, though. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a fighting back.
Yeah.
I got an 03. So.
Ooh.
All right. I guess, Harry, we should see how your luck is regarding, I mean, Carlos isn't thinking clearly either, so he didn't go for, to try to get between your ribs.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be able to take it on the
slashing. Arm. Okay. I failed by 4.
All right. Then we're going to do full damage. It's just too, we didn't get out of the way. So we've got to, let's see, if he's running this way and you're lunging.
Full damage? Can we just say I'm slashing at him?
That's what it would be anyway. It's not full damage when you get an extreme on a fight back anyway. It's a roll for damage.
Oh, that's right. That's correct.
Yeah.
So in that case, I only do
24, is that right?
It's 1d8 for a machete plus damage bonus. I only do 4 damage.
Okay, I'm down to 7. I have 7 hit points at the moment now.
And you're on top of me, so I'm also kind of pinned.
Yeah, I'm still clawing, bleeding, gnashing my teeth, trying to bite.
And Martine is halfway back to the crashed truck. Ladies, it's a pity you don't have like a fire hose.
Yeah.
Does the truck has the tools and stuff we brought, like a shovel and stuff? Okay. Gloria has had a secret crush on Harry. And so when she sees Dr. Hildebrand stab him or slash him, she goes, Harry! And she reaches into the truck for something like a shovel that she can use as a big club.
Okay.
And
yes.
Where's the camera?
The camera's like where Harry dropped it.
Okay, I'm gonna run for that because I don't want those pictures to get out because they'll look bad for the country. So I want to open it up so they get exposed. And I'm gonna see my opportunity.
Cruel betrayal. The man's struggling and bleeding. You're doing your duty.
Yep.
I can't. There's not a lot easier than breaking something open. So you just start pulling out the film and it's brown. The two fellows wrestling on the ground aren't going to be able to defend themselves from Gloria. They're not even going to be aware of her. So are you going to try to beam Carlos with the shovel?
Can I even do that this round? I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over there. So I don't know if I don't know if they get another round of combat between themselves.
You want to keep trying to kill each other?
Yeah.
Well, she does that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So Harry is going to it's going to catch his eye, and he's going to see the fish statue right next to Carlos.
Yeah, there's a convenient object. It's heavy.
And bring it down.
God.
And I'm going to try to bring up my knife. But...
All right. I succeeded my brawl. Just a normal success.
Ooh, I got an 11.
Oh,
Go
Carlos.
like this.
Hand to hand.
Yeah. Oh.
Commando, Carlos.
All right, roll damage.
Who's rolling for what?
Carlos is going to see how
Hurt
much.
you.
How
This,
much?
this could theoretically be double damage because I hit him and then he drops the statue on my face.
Well, I was thinking about that possibility. Yeah, it's just right over your head.
I am so sorry, but I got an 8 plus my damage bonus, which is 2.
Oh.
So
All right.
Oh,
I did 10.
Gloria is gonna lose it. Oh God.
She's gonna chop my head off with that shovel.
All right. So yeah, you've got you're there's this moment, Harry, of triumph when you feel the weight and solidity of this thing in your hands, and then the knife goes in and turns, and you lose control of your muscles, and the statue falls. Carlos, let's make it a luck roll. It's going to hit your head or your chest. It's going to hurt your chest. It's going to really hurt your face.
Yeah, I failed that.
All right. So you feel the warmth of his blood running down your wrists, and it's really satisfying. And then, bunk. The last thing you hear is the crack of your nose. And it's good night, Irene. You're just knocked
Probably
out.
also let go of the knife at the same time. So
Yeah.
So I'm lying there unconscious. How much damage though? It's got to do at least 1d4 in my face.
I mean, it's 10 pounds of hard stone. So
breaks my nose. Yeah, 3 points of damage. I think.
that sounds great. And yeah, immediate unconsciousness, which is probably for the best, because now Gloria can drop the shovel and see if there's any chance for Harry.
So I would be at the equivalent of -3 hit points.
Yeah.
It only goes to 0, but
Yeah.
Gloria, how's your medical and first aid?
Well, okay. She runs over there and will drop the shovel and go, "Oh, Harry!" and then kind of cradle his body and see if I can do anything. Let's put one hand on that knife handle that's stuck in him so pushing it in is not the right answer.
Pulling it out is not
Further
the
in,
right
yeah.
answer. Leaving it where it is the right
Or
answer.
trying to wiggle it back and forth to get it free. Like it's in the way, it's stuck on something, and there we go.
That's his liver.
I gotta take another sand check.
Alejandro might need to worry about.
Yeah, I think so too.
You're past the pyramid at this point, Martine.
Oh, I was rolling for myself, for my own sand check,
I
just
see.
listening to this.
98 on my sanity roll there.
Okay.
Which is a fail.
Well, how about we do a 1d4 on
1d4.
people that you have met and knew were human beings are now
Yeah.
broken monsters. And, Gloria's on the ground, like the blood is just smearing all over her and she's sobbing.
What the crap is going
That's Harry. It's your face. Yeah. So
It's coming from his nose. So,
we have a crisis in that if no one, well, you have to deal with your immediate casualties,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have keys to the truck that has the archaeologists in the back
Yeah,
because the villager maniac ran away with them.
I could try to jumpstart it.
I mean, it's 1925. They're not complicated machines.
Right. Yeah.
Am I snapping out of it anytime soon?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good question. Exhaustion would help. Let's say, I mean, it's been a few rounds for them, but you've just been trucking and it feels good to get away from that place. It feels like you're leaving the hunger and terror. Let's say by the time you get to the pyramid, you sort of, you have no more breath and you fall to a halt. And as you're lying in the ground panting, the world starts to make a little more sense again.
Okay.
Right.
When I catch my breath and things make a little more sense, I get up and I start going back to them just to try to help get them out of there. But I'm not running towards them, though. I'm really winded.
Right. No, all the run you had in you is gone. So you're staggering back. It's going to be a minute. Certainly, it's not going to take as long for Alejandra to force the truck to start. Do you want to do a mechanical repair or some parallel?
And where's the statue?
The statue is on the ground next to Carlos's bloody face.
Okay, and next to me then also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right there. Both of the important artifacts are right next to you.
I'll spin the 5 luck to pass.
Okay. So the truck coughs into life.
While Alejandro is starting the truck, Gloria, tear-stricken, will gently lay Harry onto the ground and then scoop up. I'm assuming it's going to take like both arms and all the leg strength to hoist it, but pick up this statue and start walking it back to the stone building that has the diving gear.
Okay. What's your intention?
Donned some diving gear and jump into the cenote with the statue.
I look over. I was like, Gloria, I got it started. Hey, we're
It's true that Carlos is not going to be able to interfere for a little while. At least for a little while. It's a pity Harry can't help. What do you think about Gloria's plan? I mean, when you realize that you've got the truck started and she's like no longer next to the two men.
Gloria, where'd you go?
The thoughts of dead Harry is just keeping me preoccupied. Where like I feel like Harry died trying to defend this objective, and so she's taking it upon herself to complete the objective that Harry died for, because she assumed that he was going to do it, right? He was going to put on the suit. He was going to do the diving and do this. I'm not very well equipped to do it. But in my grief, I'm just being driven by grief to complete that which Harry was defending.
Jesus Christo. But I'm an opportunist, and so I think Carlos is probably dead. He had a 10-pound thing hit him in the face, and if I can get in good with Gloria, I can route the story to make it look good for the government, that how we respected the natives now.
All right.
No pictures for proof, so.
Would you both roll ideas for me?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to spend the 1 luck to make it a hard success.
Great.
I failed.
Alejandra. So you're going to have to explain things to Alejandra, all of whose calculations are sort of somewhere else.
Yeah, nice.
none of you have used this diving equipment before, but it's fortunately pretty primitive stuff. It's not, there's a thing you've got to do. There's a suit that seals, and it's got a hose that goes into it that attaches to a machine that somebody has to pump to push air into it. And it's really heavy and cumbersome. You've got weighted boots, and the headpiece itself is leather and metal and glass and weighs a lot. The headdress will not fit under it.
I know.
So while you're like figuring out what parts of the suit go together, there's a couple of suits in there, and you're sort of piecing it in, and there are no instructions. By the time you've got most of a suit on, and figured out like roughly how the bell fits on the head, Martin staggers back into the clearing. Martin, you see Carlos Hildebrand has rolled onto his side. He's still unconscious, but he's fetaled a little bit, with hands reaching protectively toward his bashed in face. Harry's just a bloody mess.
Oh my God, who attacked these people?
And the ladies are engaging in diving equipment.
Do I see them? Do I see Alejandra or Gloria?
Yeah, they've gotten it near the winch and crane thing that's been mounted at the end of the Cenote.
Gloria, Alejandra,
Martin, you're back?
are you okay? See, something horrible happened and attacked Harry and Carlos.
Yes.
I lost my mind when that was going down, so I wouldn't know what happened.
I go,
be careful, there's a lunatic on the loose.
I think we're okay. They
Where
were the
are you?
lunatics. I step out from the building and kind of wave at him.
Dead muerto. Harry, no más. X, Harry.
Yes, see, I saw that.
So, ladies, you're going to tell Martin what happened?
I'll help.
Oh, he can see what's happening as Gloria steps out in full gear, 2 thumbs up, holding on to the cradling the statue, and is ready to be I guess hooked up to the crane, and I've given Alejandra instructions on how to winch me out and lower me down and get the air going and keep me alive as I'm going down.
It seems like more than a one-woman job, but okay.
What are they doing? I'm kind of talking to myself and talking to Carlos as I'm trying to help Carlos patch back up. I can't believe they left you. You need help. So I'll do medical, whatever I can do while they're doing that.
Well,
First aid.
Yeah.
You check on Carlos and he's breathing. He's just, and he's not even entirely unconscious. He's somewhat like Beaumont was when you found him. Like he's really out of it, but he's not in immediate danger. And Gloria and Alejandra have realized that it will take one person to operate the winch to lower a suited person into the cenote, and it will take another person to operate the air pump so that Gloria does not suffocate when she goes into the cenote.
Martin, come do your duty for the government. I need you to work the pump.
Oh, for the federales. Well, as long as Carlos looks like he's not gonna like he's critically injured, then I'll rush on over and help.
I explained how the
Can't believe Harry's dead. Harry.
Good. So, Gloria, you do a suit check, and you feel like you can like tell that that you're a little puffed up inside the suit, and you can press on it and see that it stays sealed. And you guys work out a couple of signals. There are battery-powered lamps inside the stone building with the diving equipment, because the water is not very clear. And carefully and slowly, the three of you learn to work together. The winch takes the weight of the suit and Gloria without any trouble at all. And Alejandra, you lower her in just, a few feet and see that like there isn't an eruption of bubbles or anything of the sort. And bring her back up, and you thumbs up. Light here, statue here, and you lower her in.
Working the pump, air pump.
Gloria, it's eerie down there. It's a deep green. There are no fish or anything. It's just this even murky water, and you're casting the light around, and indeed 60, 70 feet under the surface, you can see that there's a perfectly circular area in the center of the cenote that's marked by a groove, and there are other lines in the silty bottom emanating into a center from that, and the center is a dinner plate sized depression that looks like it really would take a particular object very comfortably. And so you carefully maneuver your way, and of course clouds of silt come up in the water, and you
moving in slow motion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When you place the statue in that depression, shimmering light emanates through the grooves in that circular area of the bottom of the cenote. And it's probably a sand check, but it's a fun sand check, and we're starting to run over. What's crazy is that as you maneuver away from this situation, the cenote is very much like a chimney, the round cylinder thing that goes straight down. But here at its base, there are other caves. As Dr. Hildebrand said earlier, a lot of these things connect to each other. And you see another source of light. And, again, you've got a window this big. But these phosphorescent creatures emerge out of these caves, 3 of them swimming lithely. And they're human-like in shape, but they're not human. And they glow gently, like a jellyfish. And they are sort of dancing in the water at 3 points around this circle. And you can feel a vibration from them. And that's the sand check, because that's not normal.
Oh, I failed that one.
Okay.
I failed that roll.
Despite the fact that they're completely ignoring you and not attacking you in any way, they scare the bejesus out of you. You're probably feeling pretty. You probably don't have a lot of oxygen in your blood, and Harry just died in your arms, so it's going to be a 1d6.
Oh, I lose 6.
Okay. Would you roll intelligence? You're a smart lady.
I am a very smart lady. And that is a standard success.
All right. You have to get out of the water immediately. And it's going to take, I guess, let's do a power check to see whether you just start pulling off the suit in sheer panic.
I failed my power roll.
All right. So you're gonna try to take off your suit. It's gonna resist a little because of pressure. Alejandro, you can see the line, and actually Martin too. You can see the lines just going crazy. And you hear a noise. In addition to that, it's the truck going away. Carlos has gotten up off the ground and is driving away from the cenote.
That capitalist pig.
Alejandro, would you roll strength?
Roll strength, sorry. Yep. God, I rolled more 90s. So that's a fail.
So you're trying to winch her up as quickly as possible because it's obviously erratic. And then you see this eruption of bubbles and the winch gets much lighter. And then you see part of the suit come out of the water.
Just the bell top.
Just the bell on the top. And then you see Gloria shoot up out of the water. She's being suspended by Fishman, like on the statue, who's thrusting her into the air. She's like sputtering and not entirely conscious. Between you and Martin, you managed to get, maybe you can, the creature will wrap the end of the cable around her so that you can hoist her out of the water. And then the three of you sit, Gloria sputtering and wet, Alejandra and Martin, who've seen an alien creature save your friend's life. And there are no more tremors. So we will leave it there. One dead, one broken, but the world saved.
That was awesome.
I become the crazy scientist who claims that there's a hidden treasure, and they're all like,
you've got this weird scar. You got this divot in your forehead for the rest of your life, and you're like, ah! Yeah,
broken teeth.
Yellow journalist.
Yeah.
But you do have and the document still belongs to a museum in Mexico City. So
that's right.
I'm gonna get anything for it.
Well, I'm probably not getting it back immediately because I have to put together another team to go back to Chichen-Itza.
To steal that
time with
statue
rifles. Wow, that was cool.
Good. Questions? Do you have a general sense of what we were dealing with?
So, we kind of guessed it. He took the statue. What would have happened if we had not put back the statue?
So it was the looters that caused this expedition that initially moved the statue. But it's taking a while for the dole to awake. The sleeping dole, the deep ones sealed this area with a spell that would keep the dole from waking thousands and thousands of years ago. And the looters are the ones that interfered with that. And the tremors are the dole, stirring in its slumber. And the noxious gas is a miasma that the dole emits that is extremely destructive to the human mind. The natives, were being quite reasonable until they inhaled miasma, and then bad things happened to all parties.
Probably the
including
Mayans
yours.
had some sort of relationship with the deep ones. that lived in the
Quite, yeah.
Cenotes.
I mean, they knew enough to have. I mean, that document, of course, is an UCLO, but the illustrations are clearly indigenous work. So there was a deep understanding over time,
Cool.
long forgotten.
Oh,
Well played. We were really until if Martine hadn't come back, I don't know how the three of you would have managed with only two people trying to return the statue.
I really thought that Harry and I were going to die together.
Pretty close.
in each other's arms.
I had no intention to do that. I really wanted to try and talk other people into doing it, but with Harry's death, and I just made it up. I was like, maybe she actually has a thing for Harry. And then when he died, I was like, well, now she just is fully invested in trying to complete this probably
Almost
one-sided
sleepwalking through this
imaginary romance that she had with him and try and complete his last act or whatever, his last thing. So
I thought you were going to pull off the rather tropish chopping my head off with the shovel.
I didn't want to do anything like that. And then, which was like, I kind of delayed. I was like, maybe they should fight each other again. Am I that fast? I don't know if I'm that fast. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, good. They took each other out. I don't have to do anything. And then I, got distraught over Harry. And then so I was like, oh, I'll just take this. And I was going to just jump into the water. And then I was like, oh, there's diving stuff. Maybe I should do the diving stuff. I was like, all right, well, how about we do the diving stuff? So
I told David, I said, screw this. I can come back later. I'll just leave.
Yeah.
And then I was like, is the scroll next to me? I'll take the scroll. And just fuck them all.
That was really good. That was really good. My character went places I didn't think she was going to go. So that was good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Gloria
players
will never
included,
know. She'll never know what could have been.
it's true.
Right. And the world will never thank you.
Our players included Daniel Topalis, Stuart Lively, Keith Craig, John Hook, and myself with David Gassaway as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.